Hi, I'm now going to demonstrate how to make the Sklar custom derotational splint. I developed it about 30 years ago when working with a hand surgeon who wanted to have a patient not be able to supinate or pronate during the day. So I first start off, this is 3-inch stockinette. I cut it with a thumb hole already made, and we slide it over the hand. Get that thumb right in there. And then we pull it up and it goes past the condyles. And then what we're going to do is peel this back, and I have 1/2-inch T-foam, and I'm putting this over the ulnar styloid right here because we don't want the splint to aggravate the ulnar styloid while wearing the splint. Now I'm going to go get the material. It's heating up in a fry pan, and I'll be right back to do the next stage. Polyform. I find the drapability of the material makes it very easy for me to put the hand and the wrist in the position I want. In order to make it easier, because it's a large piece of material, I use gravity to assist, and I have patients put their hand up over their head, and then I wrap it around. This is where the condyles are, and I flatten that out really well. I roll it here to clear the DPC, and I roll it around the thumb so he's got full thumb motion. Now so far gravity's been helping us. We put the wrist in a neutral position, and then I take a 3-inch ace bandage and I gently wrap it, not tight, around to keep all the position for the wrist and the forearm. Keep the wrist in neutral. And then I bring it down, making sure the wrist is staying in a neutral position where I have the hand doing that. And then I allow full elbow flexion and extension while in the splint. And I put the splint in slight pronation. By doing that, it allows the splint to be more functional for the patient. They'll be able to pick up a glass of water, eat with his hand without having to take off the splint or feel like the splint is causing bigger problems. So I'm just waiting for this to harden, then we'll take it off, we'll smooth out the edges, and then we'll do some stuff with the padding, some tricks I've developed with the splint to make it more comfortable for the patient, and put straps on and we'll be done. So wrist is in neutral position, slight pronation, full flexion and extension of the elbow. So I'm going to take that off, then I'm going to go fix the edging. I find having smooth edges is really important, and polyform allows to get very smooth edges. Just dropping it in a little bit. Most of you probably already know how to do this. I always go from the inside of the splint out, make sure there are no sharp areas. Just using my thumb. Doesn't take much heat to get this nice and pliable and workable. If you do it too much, what will end up happening is you'll change the shape of the splint. So I'd rather go in a couple of times and get it right than go in once and have it too soft and very floppy. The other thing that's really important is the back of the splint. That's where it's going to hit the elbow. So I'm going to roll it out a little bit. I'm going to actually roll it out a lot, because when the elbow goes into extension, we don't want the splint to be touching. But because they're going over the condyles, we'll be able to get and limit the supination and pronation. The other thing that I do here is I've already cut out a piece of T-foam, and I put this back towards the elbow, but not at the elbow. I want the elbow to float at the back of the elbow, so when they go to straighten out, the elbow won't hit the splint when it moves. And then we're going to take off the T-foam that we put over the ulnar styloid, and I have 1/4 inch beige foam that I will put in place. and then we'll do the straps and we will be done. So here's my my beige foam, 1/4 inch, sticking it right into that hole where the ulnar styloid is in our beige foam, so he has a little space between the splint and the padding. And then we will go ahead and take this off and throw it away. And then check the fit, make sure there's nothing cutting. With space there, full elbow extension. Good, and then we're ready for straps. I use the heat gun to go ahead and make the Velcro squares a little bit more tacky. I have 4 straps I'm going to be putting on. One is going to go through the web space, one is going to go over the wrist, one is going to go at the elbow or close to the elbow, and then one will go in between the wrist and the elbow one. So we're just popping these on real quickly, and then we will cut straps. So I have 8 pieces of Velcro squares on there, one for the wrist that goes through the web space, one at the wrist, then forearm, and the elbow. So when I've gone ahead and developed the splint, I realized that there are certain places that aggravate. If you use a really big web, get close to the elbow, this can cut, so we're going to trim that a little bit. I like the 2 inch by the elbow, and I like the 2 inch by the forearm. And then I go ahead and I use 1 inch at the wrist. And then 1 inch the web space. So there are 2 places I trim the straps. 2 places. One is at the thumb, at the web space. We really don't need it that thick right through the web space and have it uncomfortable for the patient. So we're going to trim that, and it'll make it more comfortable. And then when you bend your elbow, the strap can cut into the elbow. So what we do is we do a trim there, and we cut it out so it's more comfortable. And so when he bends, the strap is not cutting into him at all. So we all test pronation and supination with the elbow at the side. So if Jeff puts his elbow at the side right like that, like we test, and he tries to palm down, he can't move in either direction. Try and palm up. No pronation, no supination, he's totally taking it out. But if he needed to use a computer at work or as a student, he would bring in his shoulder at airtight and would be able to type no problem. He also would be able to go ahead and pick up food, pretend that's a carrot, I know it, and go ahead and eat it. Don't eat it, but you get the gist of functionality with the splint. Neutral position, slight pronation because it's more functional for the patient. I'm trying to get them to wear it as much as possible so that they can actually calm down the TFCC area and let it heal. Thank you very much.